Okay then. First thing to do is get rid of these couple of test roads. I built them over here and copied one so that I could place it using the move it copy function, just so that I could see how big this was going to be and how much impact it would have. Okay, so the situation is this lot has all got to go, and I'm thinking probably here or maybe here, I'm not really sure. Also, these two cargo hubs, what I want to do, I don't know whether it's going to work because of this is where the line is. What I'd like to do is dig myself a port there-ish, which would be nice. I don't know whether the shipping lane will connect to it if I do that though, or alternatively put it here, but obviously I've got less room to play with. So the plan of attack is going to be to move these guys. Well, I'll leave these here. At the moment I'm hemorrhaging money, but never mind. Move these. I'm thinking here is probably best because it's the furthest away from everywhere, and at the same time this highway needs to be extended down here somewhere over the river. Probably needs to dive under the airport because I tried moving the airport earlier and frankly it turned out to be a bit of a disaster. Connect to this highway, which will in turn mean we go up here, that the highway will pretty much encircle the entire city. That's a good thing, trust me. And then the idea is this industrial area here is going to get essentially disconnected from the road network. So is this one. So is this one. This one's going to be a bit more difficult, but it's going to get disconnected. As is this little one here. And the idea is that I'm going to try and force all my specialized industry to use their individual cargo train terminals to interact with my updated and moved freight transfer facility, I suppose you'd really call it, rather than a rail yard. So they're going to get cut off from the road network. What I'm thinking I can probably do is use bus lanes to get Sims in and out. Some of them have got subway access, but this one doesn't, for example. So I'm thinking what will probably happen is I will use bus lanes to be able to get people in and out of this area, cut it off from the road network, require it to use rail yards, and they'll all have to interact with a cargo transfer facility, which will go in this area here, together with my updated, hopefully renewed cargo hub facility, which will go in here. I've got some cross-town rail links at the moment. There's a train now, there's a passenger train in fact, but I've got a cargo hub, a cargo freight facility here. I've got another one here. I'm thinking instead of them coming up through the middle of town, they will in fact transport their rails this way, again this sort of direction along the edge of the map, something like this, and end up here. This is currently oil. Somewhere in here is ore, and this bunch here is basically the generic. If we just click over export, there's a lot of generic industry and it's concentrated in this area. There's the ore. There's the ore industry. So these guys will get connected out to the freight transfer terminal. These guys will get transferred out to the freight transfer terminal. Ditto the oil. Ditto this bit of farmland that's going on down here, and this ore industry here. They'll all be dealing with the freight transfer facility, which in turn will then send, what do you call them, manufactured parts, I suppose, components. There you go, let's call them components. So the components will then be shipped to the generic industry for manufacturing to finished goods, which will in turn get back to these guys. Now, why? Well, partly because this area here is frankly a traffic nightmare. It's not as bad at the moment, but that's because my population's dropped. The population currently cycles between around the 100,000 mark and 135,000. When it's down here, traffic's pretty good. When it gets up to 135, frankly, it all just grinds to a halt. That said, I should note that it used to be that a lot of these touristy buildings, let's cut over to the tourist map here, a lot of these touristy buildings used to be bright red all the time because they weren't happy with the situation with traffic, whereas now it only seems to be this building here, which I can't remember what it is, but it's irrelevant, frankly. There isn't a great lot of complaint in terms of buildings as far as traffic is concerned. So basically the reason I'm down at 73%, I'm thinking, is because rail yards and far too much traffic, far too many silly roads whizzing about in all directions, too many links of all descriptions. Each one of these roads is ultimately a response, a knee-jerk reaction to a then and there problem, if you like. The idea is we're going to eliminate the then and there problems once and for all, and hopefully eliminate the traffic problem. Meanwhile, over here we've got this monstrosity of an interchange. Compare this lovely interchange here, which is a hybrid of, wait for it, this interchange, and again, the reason that this looks the way it does is because you build something, the traffic, the sims, don't do what you thought they were going to do. So I put in a link. There you go, guys. Will that do you? And indeed, it basically works now. I had an issue where this roundabout was essentially backed up all the way to hell and gone. And believe it or not, putting that little link in, just there, you can see on the cursor, got rid of all this traffic. This used to be essentially gridlocked. And putting that in eliminated it. Unfortunately, I spend most of my time chasing my tail. I fix one problem only to find that I've created another. Where's me slip road roundabout? This here is purely in a response to an 8-lane road that used to run through here. It just gridlocked. Fitting it, putting in the 8-lane, allowed much greater throughput, only to totally balk this area here. Putting this in, which has actually improved matters even more, and look, it runs lovely, really, really hammers this area. So the idea is this area needs to be fixed, and I'm thinking probably what has to happen is this area has to go completely. All these rails, look at it, it's just a disaster area, frankly. They all need to go. I'm also, I don't know whether this is advisable, to be honest with you, but I'm also going to break the link between that outbound, inbound, off-map rail link and its partner on the other side of the map. At the moment, traffic, off-map traffic, can use my map to get from there to, come on, scroll, to here. I'm going to break that link so that these guys will come in probably to this area, ditto these guys, but what they won't be able to do necessarily is get from there to the other side of the map via my city. So anyway, yeah, that's the plan. I don't know whether it's a good idea or not. Sometimes I think I've got the layout of the infrastructure in my mind's eye, and yep, let's get ahead and build it. And then 15 minutes later I'm thinking, oh yes, but what about this problem, that problem, the other problem? So tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and start. As I say, this is going to get extensively re-landscaped so that these two are actually in an actual harbour area, which may turn out to be a colossal mistake if the shipping lane doesn't want to talk to it. All of this is going to get transplanted to here in hopefully a much better layout, without the inherent problems. As you can see, it's just a nightmare of spaghetti. Going to get rid of that, going to simplify it, and yeah, that's the plan. I have no idea how long it's going to take or if it's going to work. Fingers crossed. If you're out there, if you're, oh look, all these dead people. Ugh. If you're paying attention, if you're interested, thanks for watching. Tomorrow is going to be a long day. happy days. Let's see what happens.